How do we think about longevity? How do we think about health on a global scale? So it's not just getting in shape, right? If I'm in shape, but my mind is all over the place, that's not a completely healthy person either. Right. And for me, it was figuring this stuff out because I had an impetus to do so. It was for me, it was actually going through the rigorous hard parts of having a mind that was all over the place, not feeling comfortable in my own skin, and wanting to perform better. And that led up the ladder through mental or physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And they're all connected. The greater we come to that understanding and start to look at things from a global view of a holistic healing and a holistic moving through our space of life, the easier it becomes because we see how every single thing impacts another thing, right? Like I can look at cold bath and say, this is great for inflammation. It's great for burning body fat. But what's the awesome side effect I get in a cold bath? I'm not thinking about anything else when I'm in the cold bath. I have to slow my breathing down when I get in there. Now I'm doing breath work. I have to concentrate on my body and allow it to soften, allow myself to relax. Because if I get in there and shiver, if I get in there and my mind's racing, thinking about other stuff, it's going to be infinitely harder. So as I begin to have mastery in the thing on a physiological level, all of a sudden, my mental emotional space clears up. All of a sudden, I feel better on the inside. And the fat loss and the inflammation and all that other stuff, that becomes the side effect. I'm not in the ice bath to look good. I'm in the ice bath because I feel better for the rest of the day. And as we come to find these little things in life that have a parallel and the ability to magnify all aspects of our lives, those are the things I gravitate towards. Those are the things that I want to at least get the minimum dose in on a daily or every other day basis so that I do feel great. I'm not waiting until the end of my life to start these practices. I'm doing them right now.
I love it, bro. I want you to finish with one story about us as kids. Something funny, something people would get a crack out of. I don't know. I mean, whatever you can think of that comes to your mind first.
I'll tell you one. I remember when your mom, Wanda, was sitting next to my dad at a wrestling tournament. I think you know this story. And she is great, quiet old church lady. And she's like, Rick, I have a question for you. I'm a little concerned. And he was like, well, what's going on, Wanda? She's like, well, the boys, I'm nervous for Daniel that the boys, they've chosen a nickname for him, which I just can't tell if they're making fun of him or if they really, if they like him. And I just want to make sure that he's, getting along with everybody and not being bullied. And he was like, well, what's the question? She's like, well, they call him Ogre. And Ogre seems to be like that, I get it. It's a strong, big thing, but it's usually a dumb thing. And I don't know if they're calling him Ogre to make fun of him or if they're calling him, he's like, no. He goes, first off, you don't get a nickname if you're not liked. The nickname would be, there's far worse nicknames. I mean, they've got a nickname. He's like, I'm not even sure if I could say this in front of you, but they call some kid on the football team Shit Stain. They don't like that guy. They don't like Shit Stain. They love Ogre. They love Daniel. And that's why he's got that nickname. And I remember that story happened right around a wrestling tournament or a duel match. And, we had the spotlight wrestling. You're second to last at 215. I'm heavyweight going up right after you. And I had this feeling it came down to us to win the meet. So we both had to win, pin and win or win and win would do it. And in my mind, I need to be relaxing my breath. I need to be slowing down, stretching, staying loose. I don't need to be screaming before my match to root for you because that would detract from my performance on the mat. And then it just clicks. We got to cheer because if it doesn't matter how well I do, if Daniel doesn't win, if Ogre doesn't win, we're not going to win. Doesn't matter what I do. We need 2 wins, not 1. And so I go to, I remember climbing up in the stands. I'm nice and warm. And I start yelling, Ogre, Ogre. And everyone in the stands starts going. The whole crowd was fucking lit on fire. And of course you win, I win. But that was one of my favorite memories because it was like the contrast of where your mom had thought uncertainty. And then it was just like, no, man, like this is our dude. And you were a phenomenal, phenomenal wrestler. And that were some of my best memories in wrestling, were cheering for you before I went on, because I just I love working the crowd. I love getting people into it. And those are exciting times, especially as young adults, where it's a high school wrestling meet or a high school wrestling tournament. It's not going to make or break you in life. It's so early on. At the end of the day, it doesn't really mean shit. But at the same time, in our shoes, it meant everything, right? So those times when I cheered for you were really awesome, because everyone loved chanting Ogre. And it was such a cool thing to like just get the crowd going and get them behind you and then watch you go out and dominate. I love those memories, bro. Brother.
I appreciate that. That was a fun 4 years of wrestling with you. To be able to see us traveling, kicking ass, having fun, and then you and I kicked each other's ass every day for 4 years. Like
every day.
I mean, we were the only big guys. Who else did we gang up on? Mr. Coach Levins, like Matt Erdman. I mean, poor guys. Like they took some whooping some days because we just wanted to throw them around.
Cunningham would get in there with us a little bit, and then I think there was a bigger guy that came by for a couple of times, but yeah, it was just us. So that was dope, man. That was a great time in life for sure.
You're a huge blessing, bro. I love what you're doing. Tell me what you got coming up. So I know that people could reach out to you if they want coaching or, whatever else you have going on. What's happening right now?
Well, we're just, let's see, Fit for Service is officially full. We do take new people in at the end of each trimester. So beginning of the year, you can fill out forms right now, aubreymarcus.com/fit for service. And that's FOR. It's all spelled out in letters, not numbers. At Living with the Kingsburys on Instagram is my wife and I's joint account. Jumped off social media with everything going on, and then realized, all right, well, it is the fastest way to communicate with people. So we have a joint account at Living with the Kingsburys. And then the place where I really put my heart and soul behind is the Kyle Kingsbury podcast, because anything that I find value in, the people that I'm tracking and learning from that I consider to be experts in any given field, those are the people that I have on the podcast. And that's been a great way for me to learn first and then share that with the world. So, again, I'm filling my cup first. I'm paying myself first by meeting these people and having them on the show. And then, of course, I get to be of service to the greater good of all by then sharing that podcast out with the rest of the people. So the Kyle Kingsbury podcast, tons of good info there. Really started off in fitness and health and wellness, and has shifted now, more to the spiritual side and just how we get the most out of life, and even uncovering some of the hard truths about the situation we're in on a global scale. So lots of good stuff there, and plenty to draw from. And of course, a lot of these people are authors. So if I read an awesome book, I reach out to the author and get them on. And that's continued to funnel more knowledge my way, which I can then embody and really ground that into wisdom. And I feel like this has been one of the greatest blessings I've had post-fight career, is the ability to have conversations with people like you, brother.
I love doing this. We're over 100 podcasts now, and to be able to learn and spend an hour like honed in, or most of my podcasts 30 minutes, but to be able to learn and grow from people that have different perspectives and different wisdom in whether religion or like Dr. Oz was talking about health and fitness, and it's great to be able to spend time with people. I find that so many people are all over the place, on their cell phones, doing whatever they do to be able to create that connection. But if anybody out there, if you guys want to spread the word, we pick some people from the podcast once or twice a year. If you want to share something, if you got something good, if you're doing something, we just want some really, really good content going out. So thanks for being on, bro. I appreciate your time. You guys, Kyle Kingsbury, Google him, check him out. It's a blessing to have him in my life over the last 24 years. Significance Breed Successes every single week on Tuesday. So thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
You got it. Have a great week. See you guys every week Tuesday. Check it out, DanielPuder.com, or Google Significance Breed Success.